Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for coming to this training session. So, my name is Vishal Kalam, and I'm a K12 STEM student assistant. And this is my email ID is kalam@ulc.edu. So, if you have any questions or doubts regarding this tutorial or training session, you can reach out to me at this email ID. And I'm a master's student pursuing master's degree in computer science at USC. So today, in the meeting, I'm going to talk about like the basics of Zoom, like all the different basic options that are available to us, and how to set up some nice virtual backgrounds, and then breakout rooms and annotations and whiteboard, and then share some educator and security tips, and then talk about few best practices, and then and shortcut keys that might actually help uh, to navigate between options quicker. So some of the basic options which we have uh, in the floating panel is microphone option. Whenever we click on a small caret symbol beside it, we get all these following options. To select a microphone, select a speaker, and then we can test the speaker and microphone. For example, like if you have multiple headphones and earphones, you can actually like test all of them out and see which works best, and you can use that. And then in the audio settings you can actually mute. There are different options to mute yourself on entry and stuff like that. And then in the security tab, basically this is usually only hosts will be able to see this. They can enable waiting rooms, log the meeting or share screen chat options, and they can allow participants to either do this or not do that. And then in the video settings, we have if you're using a Mac or an Apple product, you get FaceTime camera. But if you're using a Windows PC or Linux environment PCs, you will have normal HD facing camera as an option, and then choose virtual background. And in the latest version, you're also able to like choose different virtual filters. And then like in the video settings, you have to select do you want to mirror your image or not, and set some options like that. And then coming to the views, there are two default views. Like one is a full screen view and the gallery view. So in the full screen view, the speaker will be at the center of the screen, and all the remaining participants will be in the top of the speaker. Whereas in gallery view, all share the same amount of screen, and then like whoever talks will be highlighted with a yellow background. And then some of the options you get while you are actually creating a meeting or scheduling a meeting is provided by Zoom are like enable join before host. So if you basically, what this does is that the participants can join before the host does. Uh, if you basically uncheck this, basically the participants cannot join until host starts the meeting. This is actually helpful in case if the meeting gets postponed or rescheduled, then basically the participants joining the meeting will know that it hasn't started yet, so maybe they can understand from that whether it has been rescheduled or postponed, rather than joining the meeting and waiting there forever. And then like mute participants upon entry is basically all the participants who are joining the meeting will be muted by default. And then enable waiting room. So what this feature does is that it sends all the participants into a waiting room from where host can actually admit after verifying them. And then sorry, one second. And then only authenticated users can join is, for example, at USC, if you select this option, for example, at USC, only people who log into Zoom using the USC mail ID will be able to join the meeting or attend the meeting. And breakout room pre-assign is that it will like as soon as a meeting starts, it assigns people into different breakout rooms. And then this is one of the latest features that have been listed on Zoom. So basically, like if any student is not active for 30 seconds, like if the Zoom is either running in background or is minimized or anything like that, so basically you'll get a small clock symbol beside the student's name. So this is, from this you can like verify whether the student is paying attention to the class or not. And then now on how to set up a virtual background. Like sometimes since because of the current situation, since everything is like from work from home, you can actually like set up different virtual backgrounds in order, because sometimes like whatever is happening in the background might be distracting for ourselves as well as the other people who join the meeting. So basically we can choose a virtual background. uh, the way you do it is that you find a video with this video symbol on your meetings control, and if you click on the caret symbol, you'll have a choose virtual background. Then you will be taken onto the screen, and these have like different basic default virtual backgrounds which you can select and choose. Otherwise, there is a small plus icon here where you can hit and like look at different background options that are available. Maybe I think we can actually take a quick 2 minutes break here, and if anybody wants to try out this virtual background can do so, or if you have any doubts till now, this would be a good time to ask.
I have a question, Vishal.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you go back to the last slide?
Okay. Yeah.
I was wondering, so this is, you mentioned that this is a new update. What do teachers need to do to see if they have this update? Because this seems really interesting to be able to see if students are paying attention.
So basically this is available only when someone is sharing the screen.
Okay. So when the teacher is sharing the screen.
Yeah. Okay. So if like the teacher should enable screen sharing for all the participants, and then when the students are sharing the screen, basically then they can see this option available.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, okay, then I'll move forward. So let me talk about breakout rooms. So breakout rooms is, I hope most of you have already used breakout rooms, but let me just give a quick introduction. So in case if you want to perform any group activities in class, breakout rooms would be a best feature to use. We can divide the students into smaller groups and then place them into individual breakout rooms. The only thing to keep in mind while using breakout rooms is that if you're recording a meeting, so for example, now I'm recording this meeting, and if I assign breakout rooms, the discussions that happen in the breakout rooms will not be recorded. So I guess that is one of the important things that needs to be, that people need to be aware of. And then like when in a breakout room, like if you have any particular issue or trouble, basically there is a ask a question or ask for help button available. And if you click that, so it will actually send a notification to the host, and then either host or co-host can join the meeting and then can address the issue. And basically you will be given a 60 seconds timer to leave the breakout room, so that if there is any other conversations, we can actually wrap it up. And then like here I have a video link on how to use the breakout room and different features that are available. So do you want me to like play the video, or does anybody want to like volunteer and try it out, or like just move forward?
You can show the video.
So basically you will have this breakout rooms option. If it is not available here, when we click on these three dots in the more option, basically you will have a breakout rooms option. You will have this option only if you are like a host, or if host has enabled breakout rooms.
Do you want us to listen to the video sound? Because we can't hear the sound.
Sorry?
It's okay, yes. I have a question about the breakout rooms. When kids are in breakout rooms, they cannot share the screen with each other. They have to, that's how I have experienced. Is there a way they can share within the group?
Yeah,
The
I think
screen?
even in breakout rooms they'll be able to like share their screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. So basically here you have an options option. In the options option, you can actually like set timer. For example, if you want to give the students like 10 minutes of time, maybe in options, you can set the timer for 10 minutes and automatically like after 10 minutes, they will be, they will exit out of the breakout rooms and join the normal meeting.
Okay.
So would they be able to share their screen if you just turn on screen sharing for everyone first? Would that be what they need to do?
Yeah. So even when in breakout room, they'll have this screen sharing option in the meetings control basically, and they can share the screen.
Okay.
So I know it's true for me when I have screen sharing here because I'm the host, that I click on where it says screen sharing. I have a little arrow in the top right, and then I have advanced sharing options pops up, and it says who can share. And so right now I have only host, but then I can share. So right now I'm going to click all participants. So that's how I do it, so that everyone can share their screen link during a meeting or something like that.
So basically that is about breakout rooms, and then whiteboard and animation. So if teachers want to like explain anything like on a traditional whiteboard or animation, basically we can actually use this feature. So this is also like available. So in your share screen, when you click on share screen, you will have different options like all the browsers that are open on your desktop, and also like you will have a whiteboard option available. So basically if you click on this, like you will have the whiteboard option, and then also when you click on while you're sharing screen, you will have an annotation. Once you click on the whiteboard option, you'll get one control floating panel. There you will have options to annotate or like ask for accessing the person who is sharing the screen, and all such options. So once when you click on annotations, you can actually draw, stamp, then write, scribble everything just like you would do on a normal whiteboard. For example, like this is actually taken from YouCubed and Mathematical Art. So basically, for example, we can show some art like this and like ask the students to involve all the math involved using the annotation tool. So basically they can then highlight like this and write trapezoid, parallelogram, pentagon, triangle, etc. Stuff like this. So it would be actually more helpful in such matters. And then the next thing is something like non-verbal feedback. So when an instructor is explaining, basically we will have all these options, and they can actually like click on any object, any option. For example, if I'm going faster, then you can click on go faster so that I will be notified of it, and maybe I'll reduce my pace. Or if I'm going too slow, you can click on go slower. I'll be notified, and then I'll try to increase my pace. And you can use this for yes or no answers. Like you can ask a question and then the participants can reply with a yes or no, or thumbs up, thumbs down, or clap, or cup, coffee time, or like timeout. These are all different options that are available for providing non-verbal feedback. And here I've attached a link which takes you to the Zoom website to discuss about this in detail. And then like now coming on to the educator tips. Basically, like if you need any private moment with the student, you can actually put all the attendees on hold. So when you put the attendees on hold, basically the video and audio connections will be temporarily disabled. And then instructors can turn the participant video off and request to start the participant video to block unwanted, distracting, or inappropriate gestures on the video. Also, we can ensure that students focus lesson on hand by disabling the chats. So by not letting students chat among themselves, like only the instructor can chat with all the students, or by doing that, maybe we can actually make sure that the students focus on the lessons. And then security tips. So basically, if we do not allow students to rename themselves, so basically they can't, like Zoom bomb, for example, they cannot rename themselves to be someone of the class and then like join the meeting and ask students to mute the video if they don't. So basically this is to avoid all the disturbances and noise cancellation noise that one might have. And then enabling waiting room is that it sends all the students who join the who join using the meeting link to a waiting room, and maybe like say after 2 minutes you can admit all of them either individually or all at once. And then like so as I previously mentioned, enable require sign in is like if suppose you are working at USC, then this enables only like students who have signed into Zoom using the USC credentials can log into the meetings and then log the meeting after you begin. So basically students cannot rejoin back or join the meeting in the middle if this option is enabled. And then like turn off private chat is as we discussed earlier in the previous slide. This is to like turn off chat so that students don't talk among themselves during the class. And some of the best practices is like being aware of the background, choosing a simple space with minimal clutter, and then muting everyone to reduce noise and confusion, and then like calling out on people to talk, so this avoids talking among each other, and then having students be the presenter and share the projects with class, and then like embracing pause and like taking a moment at the end of the comments to allow students to engage before continuing on, and then like have a co-host or anyone to help moderate the chat and answer technical questions. And then coming to some of the shortcut keys. So there are a lot of shortcut keys and the information is available here. Like I have attached a link again to the Zoom website where it has all the shortcut keys. And then, but I felt like these are the ones which we'll be using on a regular basis. So if you want to send a quick invitation link, Command I opens up with the invitation tab. So basically you can invite by URL or share the passcode and the meeting ID. For sharing screen, you can actually hit Command Shift S, or if you're using a Windows, you can do Alt Shift S. And pause screen, you can do Alt T. For recording, you can do Command Shift R or Alt R based on the environment you are in. Pause recording is again Command Shift P, Alt P. Muting is Command Shift A or Alt A. Turn off video is Command Shift V or Alt V. Mute everyone is Command Control I. Maybe you can try some of these options now and see if it works or not. So these are like some of the keys, and again, like this link contains all the information regarding it and all the different shortcut keys that we have. All of these are like the different shortcut keys we have and how to enable them. And so these are for Mac OS, and like different information is available. And then, so here I have actually attached a link, YouTube playlist link on how to Zoom. So basically this playlist has about like 27 videos, and it like goes over each and every topic every option or every feature that the Zoom provides to us. So if you have any trouble, you can actually take a look at this. These are like a beginner's guide. Here I've attached like how to join a Zoom meeting and how to schedule a call. And then that's it. And thank you all for coming. And I hope this session has been useful to you and maybe you have learned something new. And if you have any questions, you can ask me now. Also to mention that I'm also available for one-on-one tutoring on Tutorbird, both either with students as well as teachers. And you can actually register at this link. Thank you.